Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Today, I want to talk about investing and finance. So, first, I want to start off by saying I'm not a financial advisor. I do not have a financial degree. I basically do my own research by reading books, listening to audiobooks, going on YouTube, and going on the internet in order to better my life. So, yeah, I like selling on eBay and I like making money, but I do not just make money to waste it. I like to invest it. I like to make money work for me. I want to tell you guys when the right time it is to invest. When do you know you should start investing? So a lot of people say you should start investing right now. And yes, that is true. You should start investing as soon as possible. But first, you got to get a couple things in line before you can actually start throwing money in the stock market or into your retirement accounts. So one of the biggest problems people have is they don't know where their money is going. They essentially throw money away. They waste too much on food. They waste too much on clothing. They waste too much on a car or whatever it may be. People do not have enough money to be investing. So first, before you get started, if you guys want to check out my budgeting video so you can see the breakdown of my income and my expenses. All right, before we get started, if you guys don't mind hitting that subscribe and like button, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you. So before you start investing, in my opinion, you need to be in the right state of mind. You cannot start investing if you don't have the right mentality. If you cannot accept the difference between your needs and your wants, that's where you need to begin first. If you sit down and actually look at your checking account and you look at what you've been spending on in the last month, I bet you'll be surprised. So once you're in the right state of mind, then you can move on to the first step. So the first step before investing is building an emergency fund. Now, I'm not talking about 3 to 6 month emergency fund. I'm talking about a small $1,000 fund. Dave Ramsey explains this in his book, The Total Money Makeover. So I just finished reading this book, and honestly, I wish I would have read it sooner in life, but I'm glad I finished it now. So in that book, he explains 7 steps to financial freedom. Now, I'm not going to go over that today. I'm just going to go over the first basic steps that he says you need to do in order to change your life around. So the first step, he says, is to build an emergency fund. Now, most people say you should have 3 to 6 months of living expenses as an emergency fund. And yes, I agree with that, but that might take a long time for you to actually accumulate. So you want to start off small. You want to start off with a $1,000 emergency fund. Now, when you build this $1,000 emergency fund, you should not be spending it on things like shoes or clothing or anything that's a want. You need to spend this only if it's an emergency. I'm gonna put up a list right here so you guys can look at it. So here you can see some examples of emergencies and non-emergencies. Emergencies would be something like a job loss, your car breaks down, an unexpected dental work, some house repairs, surgery, or medical bills. A non-emergency would be something like shoes, upgrading your iPhone, a shopping spree, a new pair of golf clubs, a Friday or Saturday night, Black Friday. All these are non-emergencies. You should not tap into your emergency fund if this is what you're going to spend on. Now, once you build this $1,000 emergency fund, now you can move on to step 2. Now, step 2 is paying off your debt. Now, this is one of the biggest ones for most people. A lot of people have so much credit card debt. They have student loans, they have medical bills, they have a home loan, they have a car payment, whatever it may be, take care of that first. Now, yeah, the home loan is probably going to be your biggest one. So that one you should just leave it and pay it off as you're doing right now. There are 2 main ways you can approach paying off debt. One is called debt snowball and one is called debt avalanche. Now, debt avalanche is paying off the loan with the highest interest. If you have 4 loans and one of them is at 25%, one is at 20, one is at 17, and one is at 12, you would take care of the one with 25%. Now, the best way to do it, and Dave Ramsey explains this perfectly in his video, is attacking it by doing the debt snowball way. What he means by this is taking care of the smallest loan regardless of how high the interest is and paying that off first. Now, this is a mental game. You want mental wins. You want small wins. You want to be able to look at your loans and be able to tell yourself, I only have 3 left. So yeah, mathematically, it would probably make more sense to pay off the one with the highest interest. But if that was the case, you wouldn't be in this position. So as you can see right here, he has an example of an individual with 4 loans. So the first one is his medical bill, which is at $500. His second one is his credit card debt, which is at $2,500. His third one is a car loan, which is at $7,000. And the last one is a student loan. Now you're probably looking at this and thinking to yourself, my car loan is way bigger than this. Yes, most likely your car loan is bigger than this. So just put whatever debts you have and list them from lowest to greatest. Now in this example, whatever minimum payment this individual is giving, he's going to keep giving to each one. And whatever he has extra at the end of the month, he's going to throw back into the first loan, which is a medical bill. in order to pay that off as quick as possible. So once he takes care of the first one, he'll go to the second, then to the third, then to the fourth. So the goal here is to use the money you were using for the first loan. Once you pay that off, use that money and attack the second loan. Once you pay off the second loan, you use all that money you were using for those two loans and you attack the third, and so on. So you might be asking, what if I don't have any more money? What if I don't have any more money at the end of the month? Now that's when you have to look for another source of income. Now, one of the biggest things in life, in my opinion, is if you rely just on one job, just on your main job, then you are destined to fail. You need to have more than one source of income. You need to have multiple sources of income. Just in case one fails, then you have another one. If that one fails, you have another one. You can't just rely on your job. If you lose your job for whatever reason, if they let you go for whatever reason, and that's your only source of income, you will go broke. So one of the biggest things and one of the most important things is to find another source of income. You can sell on eBay, you can sell on Mercari, Poshmark, whatever it may be. You need to make extra money. You can be an Uber driver, a Lyft driver. You can do Postmates. You can find other sources of income. You just have to be willing to do it. Now, once you take care of those two, you're done with the first emergency fund. You took care of your debt. Now you're going to go back to the first one and you're going to build on that emergency fund. Now you want to look to get 3 to 6 months. Now, Dave Ramsey put this perfectly. If you don't know whether you should have 3 or 6 months, think of it like this. If you're the only one in your household that's bringing in income, if you're not married, if you own your own business, then you should have a 6-month or greater emergency fund. Because if you were to lose your job, then you would lose everything. Now, if you're married or if you have a partner and you're both bringing in income and one of you loses your job, then that's okay because the other one is still there. The other one is still bringing in money. You will lean more towards a 3-month emergency fund. Now, if you have a 3-month emergency fund, that doesn't mean you stop looking for work after you lose it. No, you have 3 months to get back to it. You need to find another source of income. But since you have someone else that's helping you out, that's why you can lean towards the 3-month emergency fund. Now, as you see right here, these are a couple ways you can build towards your emergency fund. One, you can sell more stuff. You can find another source of income. Like I said, sell on eBay, on Craigslist, whatever it may be. You need to make more money. You need to have money coming in. You can cut your expenses. So do you really need Netflix? Do you really need cable? Do you really need to be getting Starbucks every morning? So these are some of the little things you can change in order to build an emergency fund. And as you can see here, the third one is combined expenses. Now, like I said, if you have a spouse or you have a significant other or you have somebody else that's going to help you out, you guys can combine your expenses and lower certain bills. Like if you have 2 separate phone bills, you can combine that into one. If you have 2 separate insurances, you can combine that and get a discount. So you got to be able to look at different things in order to save some money. Now that you have your debt paid off, you have the emergency fund, now you can start investing. Now, many people would say you should start investing right away, regardless of the circumstances. But in reality, if you were to start investing before you took care of all of this and something big came up, like your roof started leaking or your car broke down and you needed money right away and you didn't have an emergency fund and you still had debt to pay off, then you would have tapped back into your investments, into your 401k, and you would have either got penalized or, for example, right now the market's down and let's say you invested $10,000. Market hit about a 30 to 40% dip. Now, let's say you invested 10,000, that 10,000 would have been 6 or 7,000. Now, if an emergency came up like this and you didn't have your debt paid off or an emergency fund, then you would have sold whatever you had as in stocks and you would have took out the 6 or 7,000 and you would have just gave away 3 to 4,000 because you didn't take care of the first two. So yeah, it's important to start investing, but it's important to have the right state of mind and a plan before you actually start throwing money in your retirement accounts or into the stock market. So what should you invest in? That's a conversation for a whole nother video. Now, if you guys like this video, if you don't mind hitting that subscribe and like button, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.